Essential. 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 Essential.
So you want to hear my Rosario Dawson story?
Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, in New York, because you know I'm from New York, right? So in New York, walking down the street and everything. Now, she had just was in Kids, right? And she was the hottest thing in that movie, yeah? Well, no, the other girl was. But either way is, I saw this girl walking down the street and everything, and I said, oh my God, that's Rosario Dawson, right? And I said, Rosario! Right? And she just, she didn't have a heart attack on the street. Right? That's what it got. Anyway, I just thought I wanted to share that.
That's probably, I mean, you picked the worst stalker in the world, really, Carl. No,
Midhat is kind of like the worst stalker in the world. Either way is, as you can see, we are in a whole different place right here in the small cinema here in Liverpool.
I'm really looking forward to looking at the back of your neck for the inside sort of like performance.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to drawing stuff.
Although he doesn't have a face my neck.
Actually, I think that James, you should move over one seat just making sure that we can see you.
Sit right behind you?
Oh, no, I meant that way, but I can see you.
I can see me, look.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, alright, there you are.
Yeah, I mean, I've got really bad eyesight as well, so I can see me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
I've got glaucoma.
Actually, I was thinking that what we'll do this time is we'll actually put like some images. Talking over each other already?
I'm sorry.
I just thought that we'll put some images on the screen, you know, so because we're also shooting the back of our heads, kind of like Mystery Science Theater 2000. You know what I mean? So
I've also
essential.
I've got a celebrity story, but I'll leave it to the end because it's kind of like it's dramatic.
That's cool because we've already cut to the credits.
Go on, look.
Yeah. All right. So hey, all right. Welcome to Essential. And what we started to do, like last time, we started to introduce ourselves because we were under the assumption that people knew us, you know, because we only had like 3 people watching. But ever since we've added our man Midhat here to the cast, we all of a sudden had so many people watching, we had to invite him back. So I'm Chase, and Jamie nicknamed me the Gatherer and everything like that. And to my right.
Yeah.
I'm Midhat.
Midhat. Behind me, of course, is...
I'm Jamie Bixby.
And the other James
Brooksbank.
And yes, and we are the crew for Essential. And what we decided to do is because we're joined here in the big, the small cinema actually, you know, we might actually put in some images on the show. But so what we want to talk about, because we come to the end of the DC universe, you know, we're in the middle of the massive Marvel universe. And also, we're going to hopefully talk about some predictions of the new season coming in the fall. But we have to start with always what's in our bags. So,
you actually have comics today, which is really
rare. That Jay brought some books.
You actually dusted off your wallet there, actually, right? So, something out, didn't you? Well done.
Yes, I did. You know, so yeah, I know. I'm actually cleaning. Yeah, well,
that's why you're all outside.
Yeah, sorry. I'm cleaning house, so you know. But either way, is that so? I've been talking about conversions for the past like 3 weeks, and you know, and I'm totally exhausted with it, kind of giving up on it, and I know James is going to talk about what's happening in Secret Wars, but I figured we're going to go back in time, so I figured I'd bring in some books from back in the day. So first one I got here is 0 Hour: Crisis in Time, which is amazing. Woo-hoo. And what's amazing about it is that, you know, I've actually read all the way through it, and you know, in a sitting, where it reminded me of why we do this show is because of the comics.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you know, the artwork is fantastic, the storyline is great, and you know,
I shut that door then, Chase.
No, mate, no. So, yeah. So, anyway, as I was saying, the artwork is fantastic, you know. This is another Crisis book, but to me, the best thing about 0 Hour is the introduction of the Legion of Superheroes, where they reveal that Rock Kryn, who is Cosmic Boy, is the time trapper.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that in relation to the Trapper Keeper?
No, it's because when they bring back after 0 Hour, you know how these books always affect the timeline. they create a female time trapper, Glory. And she creates a whole new, Legion universe that's followed now. But it's just one of those things where it's taken off from when Hawk and Dove.
Yeah.
Hawk went evil, killed his girl, Dove.
Armageddon 2001.
Armageddon, it just takes off from Armageddon 2001, where they introduced the Wave Rider and the Linear Men, and they realized that they created all these complications, and they want to clean house as usual. So they brought back this whole entropy thing, and and they created a new Big Bang. Green Lantern is Parallax, and he decides, you know what? I want the universe to be better, and they use the new hero of Damage to create the Big Bang. It's just awesome. It's just awesome reading. And
Well, do you want me to ask questions when you've...
yeah, go ahead.
It's the same mid-happy before that the Hal Jordan sort of changed to the dark side was in Reign of Superman.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hinted as well that the power was affecting them down the line. So would they just become more sort of omnipotently powerful?
He killed all the Green Lantern Corps and took all their rings, and that's how he got so much more power.
Was that because he was already nuts?
Yeah,
or was it a
but
side
that
effect?
happened after Central City
Right,
got destroyed.
okay.
So-
What if they retconned it to say that it actually started in its very first showdown with what's the yellow entity's name?
The Dark Stars.
No, the yellow entity is actually called Parallax.
Parallax. Yeah. It was after the first battle he had with Parallax, and when he trapped Parallax, he didn't know that Parallax had slightly infected his ring, so it was slowly etching a little bit of fear into him. And then when the Central City thing happened, that's when it kind of like Parallax grabbed it, kind of like took him over or what.
It's actually very stupid.
Yeah. I mean, nowhere near at 0 hour.
It's complete DC, kind of like,
Yeah, but
we've got to do something. We've got to kind of like sell a few extra comics. So what can we do?
But it also does really well is it kills off the original Justice Society in this trade issue. Is that because Infinity Inc. is already been launched and everything, they actually age up the Justice Society. They changed Hawkman into Hawk World. They got that young.
They changed Hawkman into Hawk World.
No, I meant like
wow.
That was the book that came out was Hawk World, but they actually made Hawkman more militaristic. Thank you. And then this is also the book that introduces the new Starman. Like the cool, funky Starman.
James Robinson.
The James Robinson Starman, because his father, the original Starman here, actually passes off the torch to his sons. So it's all kind of major upheavals in this book. It was a serious game changer. Not to take up all the time, Infinite Crisis, amazing. I thought, I hated Crisis by this point, but this one takes off right after the Identity Crisis, the one where they kill off Sue Digby, and this one is the death of Blue Beetle.
Oh God!
And he was killed by Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, and that's what started off the what's his?
Batman's Brother Eye, the OMAC project, and all of that. This is what leads into all of that because Batman is still reeling from being lied to by having his memories falsified by the Justice League. So the Justice League is not a good team at this point.
Doesn't it also lead to Wonder Woman killing? And that's what.
But not in this issue. But yes, it does lead into that. And but in this issue. What's fantastic about it, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because Blue Beetle, he was a comic guy in Justice League, but he was always the second to third string. And it's a really heartbreaking story about Blue Beetle on this mission to figure out what's going on, and nobody gives him a break, I mean, from Batman to one of them, even Booster Gold, everybody just pushing him off to the side, and he's the only one that realizes that something's going on. And he realized the betrayer is Maxwell Lord, the guy who we followed. You gotta realize this happened about 10 years after Maxwell Lord set up the new Justice League, which was a game changer from Legends. Yeah. So Maxwell Lord is saying from the beginning he had this evil plan, and he knew that Blue Bee will figure it out, and he gets his head blown off. God. It's an amazing story.
What is it with Beatles getting murdered? First John Lennon. And now this, it's just we've got to stop this.
I would like
It's
to
like
point
every
out
10
that
years.
there's two Beatles still alive, and the other Beatle who's died of natural causes.
Well,
There's only one Beatle murdered.
No, there's
Yeah.
Paul is dead.
I thought you were talking about the Beatles in the comics.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Seen the Abbey Road coming.
Yeah. We've seen it. Don't even talk about it.
Sorry.
That whole Billy Cyrus thing.
Just 'cause
Last one.
The Illuminati.
I figured I'd do a Marvel one, and I just wanted to say that this Avengers Operation Hydra, first of all, the Avengers story that is based upon the movie Avengers is crap. I hate all of that Avengers Assemble stuff. But the backstory about the old order changes when Captain America hooks up with the Kooky Quartet, this story that was written in the 70s is amazing. I still read it today. Look at that. Look at the old art. It's just, it still holds up. You know, when Captain America takes over the Avengers because the other Avengers want a holiday, and they bring in,
It's such a 70s fucking stuff.
what it is?
It's Christmas.
It-
We need
no,
all
no.
the Christmas needs.
The Wasp wants to get married to Ant-Man, and so they want a holiday, and then Iron Man is kind of like, yeah, I can use a holiday too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, did you ever read Avengers 4? They battle a celery monster. Literally, a celery monster. After they fought Captain America out, they suddenly battled this guy. He looks like a celery walking around.
Well, I don't remember that, but okay.
One of the things I've noticed in this, Iron Man's costume, it is actually a costume at this point. There is no rigidity in Iron Man's suit whatsoever.
All the irons in the helmet.
And that's because
Not even his helmet.
No, you're right, because that's because originally he had the big silver suit, clunk, walking around like that, and then the gold one, clunk, that was even bigger, so like a barrel, right? Then they realized, hey, let's just give him a
But I mean, it does at least now in the comic books, Iron Man's armor looks like it's actually armor. In this, it looks like it's not even stronger than
Actually, I think there's a scene where he takes off, not in this one, but in another early issue like that, where he takes off the sleeves like they are just.
So, don't get me wrong, but I respect you for your loving of all this kind of era rubbish, but yeah, it is.
My favourite
about it is let's go into
my favourite Avengers 70s comic was the one where Gil Gamish took over when they went to a Led Zeppelin concert. I thought that was fantastic.
Gil Gamish.
I am not.
Gilgamesh, whatever his name is. Sorry, here's a comic back.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so going from your extinct phase of comic books into something in the modern age, I have got Secret Wars #2, which I'm fairly sure should actually just be an issue of Thor, because it is just all about.
Aren't there the team of Thors?
Wait, is it
like
the girl Thor?
No, it's all Thors. All Thors.
All Thors.
Yeah. Because they're the Thor cops of the battle world, aren't
Yeah, they are the cops of the battle world.
Sure.
That's led by Doctor Doom. They sort of like say Doctor Doom is ultimate ruler. Kind of like give a breakdown, but then it shows Ultimate Reed Richards turning up with Thanos, and it means
with that big sword on his head like Mr. Mental.
I would be okay with this book if it was a Thor Secret Wars tie-in. I'd be perfectly fine with that, but it's not. It's one of the key issues for the Secret Wars thing, and it doesn't do anything to care. They could just sum it up on one page that the Thors are the policemen of the battle world and do something else with the rest of it. But they don't.
You feel manipulated as a reader when that happens, don't you? Think do you know what I mean? Invest it, and
I don't feel manipulated. I just feel like it's a bit of a waste of paper because there's a Thor book out there that you can get for Secret Wars tie-in. That's there available. I don't know why.
It's definitely changed. Could Superman pick up those around?
If he was worthy, I'd say he was the worthy. Maybe not Man of Steel Superman, but
the Dean Cain Superman.
The Dean Cain Superman would. Yeah.
Do you like the Dean Cain Superman?
Yeah, of course.
I like it.
Well, how'd you jump on the Dean Cain Superman and he's talking about
If Jones said he's going to throttle me ever said Dean Cain was a good Superman, just wanted to put that out there.
So okay, let's just keep focus on.
Let's watch this show.
Okay, so and the other book we got is Batman Death Mask, which is the first telling from a manga writer called Yoshinori Natsumi, and it's his first American book that he actually wrote, which is this. The animation, the writing on it is really good, and for a Batman book,
Batman Death Mask.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people's faces getting cut off, which I'm always for. Really good read. I'm only halfway through it. It's taken me a little bit longer than normal because I like to digest. Yeah, you can have a look at the Secret Wars too, but you be careful. No bending of the
No bending of the book, Chase.
But yeah, it's a good book. Highly recommend it. The artwork is pretty fantastic and all done in classic black and white. And also a great book for your friends to see how long it'll take them to figure out that you're actually supposed to read it from right to left as opposed to left to right, because I can remember the first time.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It is really good, so that's...
But that's a good point, because sometimes non-comic book readers, this sounds silly, they say, I don't know what panels I'm supposed to be looking at, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of like...
Oh, yeah, left to right, right to left.
I mean, dyslexic, I'm not thinking the Mickey of it, but like, kind of... It's interesting what you say that, because it kind of plays on that, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, that's just the way the Japanese books are written.
Well, yeah,
I just remember all those round and a half comics I used to get in the 90s, and they mirrored everything, so it would go left to right.
You can see kind of like how this would have influenced Christopher Nolan, that kind of thing, you know, kind of grittiness to it.
I mean, yeah.
Well, maybe Tim Burton, actually, I don't know. Well, no,
no, it's written after Tim Burton.
You know what I mean? Like,
alright, let's just move on. So,
Haven't you got any?
No, yeah.
Okay, James pulling the chase.
Yeah. I lost them in a conga line about 15 minutes ago. I'll get them back.
I just get indie books. So I've got Archie vs Predator, and I've got Astro City number 23. I got this solely because of Alex Ross's cover for this gorilla. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, that is a nice cover,
painting. I wish I could have the original painting on my wall.
So you're trying to say that the book doesn't live up to the cover?
Well, the artwork in the book isn't as good as the cover, but the story, it's okay. It's about this gorilla from Gorilla City, basically.
All right.
He moves to the big city because he wants to lead the martial law state and just become a musician. He wants to be a drummer. See,
that's fantastic.
That's his life. That's why he escaped this against certain death. So he moved to Astro City and tries to play with a band, but everybody keeps mistaking him for a superhero because he's trained for rescue operations. So every time something explodes, he goes off and saves people. So superheroes keep coming up to him, asking him, join our team. He's like, no, I just want to be a drummer. But when he tries to be a drummer...
That is
when he tries to be a drummer, supervillains come for him. And he's like, he's stuck. He can't be a drummer because the other drummers will be other musicians would be in danger.
So he has to be a superhero.
Yeah, that's why he became a superhero, so he could become a musician.
What's he called?
He hasn't got a name yet.
Seriously?
The only name he's got is his drummer name, Styx.
I don't
know about that one.
I mean,
animals already been taken for the drummer.
Yeah,
so
animals being yeah.
No. I guess the most clever thing is that nobody named him. Like they see him saving something and they go, "Hey, there's Supergirl," or whatever, or something like that. That they would usually do with a standing.
If it was the 70s, they would have called it from Miller.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Or like.
So, back to the topic of the show, right? Thank you very much, man. So,
no, hold on. I want to go back. Don't skip this. I want to go to this Archie Predator thing. I just want to know, does it answer why because this is the thing I don't get. The Predator, as we know it, goes after warriors. Goes after sort of like that Arnold Schwarzenegger. Dennis.
Oh no, there is because it's still a mystery. But what Moose's dad, who happens to be a general in the army, explains that what most people don't know, there are predators that keep coming down to Earth during hot times of the year to attack people with weapons. And every time they attack them, and this particular predator they figured out is a teenager, so he doesn't exactly know what he's doing. So he just randomly attacks people who might be holding a knife to cut a cake.
So like comb. So like someone goes to comb the hair and
No. It was definitely right because Pop Tate was about to cut a cake for Jughead when Predator blew his head off.
Wait, Predator blew Jughead's head off?
No, Pop Tate's head off because he was trying to cut a cake for Jughead.
I gotta pick that book up, I guess.
This is Schwarzenegger's next film after Terminator Genesis. I think they should
be Pop Tate.
Yeah, he could be Jughead.
Arnold Schwarzenegger just popping in. Now, get to the chopper.
They should have done one. They should have had Captain Hero and Captain Pureheart and all that kind of stuff in there, but no, huh?
Oh, you mean those Archie?
Yeah, the Archie heroes. Yeah. More than Silver Age for me.
Okay, going on to... I mean, Predator and Alien have been in, they've done a lot of crossovers over almost every comic book.
Yeah.
Apart from Marvel, I'm trying to think of a Marvel versus Predator.
No, they did, what was it? Predator versus, no, that's Punisher. No, that's Archie
No, no.
versus Predator.
But but which one?
that was genius.
Because I mean, I thought the Alien versus Superman books were pretty good, but Batman versus Predator's got one of my favourite scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Batman, the second one, which is when Batman goes all sort of like camouflage with his thing. It just goes, I'm going to stalk you for a bit. One of my favourite Batman sort of like.
I like the Tarzan versus Predator. I thought that was kind of well done. Like he called on favours from the jungle and all. You realised that even though he was essentially a human, there was animals that could attack the Predator and stuff like that.
Sometimes when you make that up.
No, Tarzan versus Predator is a
No, it exists.
Does
it?
He does wear a leopard skin thong in it, like, you know, and as his hair gel back.
Predator wears a leopard.
Well, he steals Tarzan's, yeah.
Alright, so anyway, the topic of today's show, alright, is being in the cinema, we thought that maybe, you know, and we always talk about movies anyway, we thought that maybe we'll open it up, and maybe this is what Jamie was prepared for today, was open it up to, you know, like our superheroes on screen and everything. So Jamie, I think you're chomping at the bit to talk about it.
Yes, I just want to bring up a little. I want to be serious for a second.
Only a second.
That ain't gonna last very long, is it?
No, this is potentially. I'll take these shades off because the reason why I've got glaucoma and the lights can affect my eyes. But 20 years ago today, Christopher Reeve had his accident that left him paralysed, and I just wanted to bring it up because. That man for me was an entry point into the world of comics. I became a comic book reader because of the Superman movies and that. And I actually have a nice little story about Christopher Reeve that, if you let me indulge me here, Chase, I'll just tell it very quickly. I was when I was 7 years old, I was in a rough primary school in Liverpool, and it was a primary school. Sorry, this is. I'm going to be trying to be serious here.
Oh yeah, is this going to end with Christopher Reeve actually meeting you, or is this going to be your life?
Do you know this story?
Christopher Reeve, kind of like
it's both.
Okay, Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Right.
I want to hear this.
I wouldn't go to school when I was 7. I had a stammer, and I used to get the shit kicked out of me every day and stuff, and I became very nervous as a result, and my GP got time off for me to get me better, and I was due to go back on the Monday. Oh, it's Tuesday actually, it was a bank holiday Monday, and it was actually 25 years ago today.
Skip to the end.
Okay, right.
We've all been in
I went into BT's in St John's Market, and my granddad booked to buy me action figures, and my granddad said, Jamie, Superman's here, and I went round to, I thought he was an action figure, and it was Christopher Reeve, who was here to do the John Lennon tribute concert in the Pierhead. He was the presenter, and my granddad had told him about my troubles in school, and he kneeled down next to, this is true, this is sincere and a meter from me, he kneeled down and he told me that these people are in life and you'll always meet people like that and stuff, you just got to try and be better than them and don't be like them and all that. And then he said to me, will you promise me you'll go back to school for me? And I said yeah, and I went back, and of course 5 years later he had his accident, and I always meant to send him a letter. But I thought, you know, he gets millions of letters a month. I'll wait till he walks again, and then maybe I'll be able to shake his hand. It never happened, so taking this little time here to thank Christopher Reeve wherever he is now. I hope he's in a much happier place, and to say, as Superman and as Christopher Reeve, he was an influence on my life that no matter what life throws at you, if you persevere and, you know, if you're single-minded, you can make a difference to yourself and to other people's lives. So, thanks Superman. I just thought to bring that up.
No, and I'd just like to say I'd like to thank Christopher Reeve. Well, I wouldn't like to thank Christopher Reeve personally, but that set of circumstances was my actual opening to having a really dark sense of humour. Because my very first joke, which made my mum and dad groan, was because of Christopher Reeve and stuff like that. I mean, I could redo it for you now if you wanted. So.
I am very curious what this very dark Christopher Reeve joke
what's
is.
This?
Superman 5.
Yeah, Superman 5.
Superman 5?
Do you remember that?
Wheelchair.
Oh, God!
Do you remember that one Johnny Carson did? Johnny Carson used to do a character called Carnage, where he used to have like, he'd open an envelope and there'd be a word in it, and he got like that. Walken, and Christopher Walken and Ed McMahon. Christopher Walken, and he what's one of the things you don't see in the Reeve household? And that was the first joke I'd heard about it.
Right. So anyway, let me just end this whole like thing on something positive about
yes.
Reeve. So in 1976, right? That's when it came out, isn't it?
78.
All right. Well, how old was I then? All right.
I wasn't even born. I wasn't even pre-cum.
What's the
78? Wait. Are you talking about in Britain though? Because I could have sworn it was 76.
No, 78.
No,
It came out in
78.
Britain first.
Okay, alright. So 8, 13. Alright, I was 13. Alright, so anyway, right, so my uncle who got me into comics, right, who had a massive Batman collection and everything else like that, took me to go see the Superman movie. And like we were online, because Jaws had come out at the first blockbuster, and now lines are around the block every time big movies came out. So you would believe a man can fly. So here I am reading comics with an old comic book fan taking me to see this movie, and like I'm online for a long time. And so by the time we get into the cinema, kind of like this, there's no seats, so then I had to go all the way up to the front, the very front row. I'm like, oh man, so here I am sitting in the very front row, going to see this Superman on the screen. I'm sitting in seats like this, and all of a sudden, you all know what happened.
Yeah.
When it first opens and you go.
When it's got the boy, when it goes. No, the first bit is the boy going up to the newsstand, isn't it? In that movie.
It's the narration. Yeah, he says about
the narration, and there's a boy that runs up to the newsstand and he starts reading the comic. That's what got me. That
was supposed to be kind of like the voice of Jerry Siegel. Whatever.
Yeah, but that's what gets me involved in it. It's like this boy's reading my story.
But I meant the credits. So for me, I'm sitting in the front row on the big screen. We're talking about 700mm screen is up there like this, and all of a sudden those letters come flying overhead to that score, which was amazing, and I was just entranced into it.
That helicopter scene.
That's what.
Superman's first night on the helicopter scene. You've got me, who's got you?
Yeah.
And just the way,
you got me, who got you?
Now, in the 50s, George Reeves might have played that a bit more kind of match out, but he just brushes it off with a smile. It's just his ease, his comfort in the role, and I tell you, if a million other actors played Superman, I don't think any of them will be as good. I
think that Brandon Routh played him exactly the same way as Christopher Reeve.
Brandon Routh talks like him, sounds like him.
Exactly. But what I loved about that movie, and we were talking about before, is it's one of the first times that you kind of like really where they sort of like definitely show that it isn't just about the glasses and the spit curl. Yeah. There's that scene where he turns up at Lois's apartment and he goes to tell her. And she walks away, and he takes the glasses off, and you see him puff up a bit. And so, like, in that immediate thing, you're like, that is Superman. Yeah. But then when he puts the glasses on, immediately his shoulders come down. It kind of like shows that it's about body language. And it does go on to show that it gives evidence for that brilliant Kill Bill monologue about who Superman, Kal-El, believes is, the Clark Kent is his mask. That's how he sees us. Yeah. And, and I think that is.
The line.
But like when we were talking about that before, what I was going to say was, it's like, of course, you all remember like Bruce Lee and the Way of the Dragon, or Return of the Dragon, as we called it in the States. Is that like when he does that whole big flex
with the wings
and his wings just puff out like a pufferfish? Yeah, that's what they needed, was an actor like that. Then because when we were talking about it, like, come on, how this big guy, you don't believe that he's Clark Kent? They needed a guy like Bruce Lee, where he's like just like thin guy. Very muscular underneath his clothes, but big guy. But then who could puff up when he's in a super suit, that's what they thought.
But at the time, it kind of made a bit of sense. I mean, because Superman is supposed to be a human, a person with unimaginable power for his frame, And so it doesn't matter if he's skinny or muscular. His power range is going to be almost exactly the same. He's still going to be able to do. So it isn't. And I think he had enough muscle below him, Christopher Reeve, to kind of like maybe not getting up to the fourth one at that.
Well, Superman 3, he's as big as he ever got, if you know what I mean. But the film isn't. I love Superman 3. It's not considered a good film, but you know, it's. I love it. I realise that's.
I don't know why we're talking about Superman, but or Superman 3 and 4 and 5. But you know,
we want to talk about the TV series because that's
exactly.
I mean, all fairness, Christopher Reeve 20 years ago. Yeah, fair
God
play.
bless Christopher Reeve.
Give me 20 minutes. So anyway, so what happens is we are now, as in Britain, we are now in the final leg of the DC universe, where I think tonight Gotham is on the finale, even though most people seen it 3 weeks ago.
Most people in the US or people who want to break the law.
Most people that read comic books watched it 3 weeks ago.
No, I am someone who reads comic books, and I've decided to obey the law. These people pay money to actually make these products. If people are all like you, then we want to get a TV
and I have a girlfriend who hates me seeing anything before her and gives. Well.
Anyway, right, Jamie, you got a girlfriend, so
that's like a weekly.
It cost me this much.
Do we need to get some?
So where are we? So listen, Brit guy, where are we when it comes to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Flash, and the Arrow? Where are we in the timeline for British UK audience? Where are we?
All right, colonial runoff. At the moment,
colonial runoff.
What show was on Thor versus Hercules Day?
Colonial runoff.
The name of Olympus.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that's okay.
All right, go ahead.
Right, okay. So Gotham is coming to an end.
Yes,
I'm not even going to talk about that because there's no comic book references or anything.
No, not really. It wasn't. Yeah, no.
I mean, it's good. But, Flash. They just had the moving of the rogues that went hideously wrong. But
Rogue Air.
But it had the first kind of like.
But it also was the big team up though.
That battle with the Reverse Flash was really good.
Wait, is this the one before the finale?
Rogue Air.
Oh yeah, that was.
It's like Arrow hitting him with the nano arrows and sort of like you saw the vibrate. Yeah, that was pretty spectacular.
What about Arrow? Where's Arrow at?
Well, that finished. That finale's happened.
Oh really?
Yeah, it happened last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the finale anyway.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though you say
I'm like.
Anybody know where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in Britain television?
That's nearly finished as well. I think that's the last week this week.
Right. So tell what your theory. What you told me about the linking it up to the Spider-Man thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to tweet this show for the Americans. So I already was telling James earlier, like, my Spider-Man and Human theory that I think is going to be the plot line for Civil War.
Can you just change that from Spider-Man Inhuman theory? Because what that sounds like is you think that they're going to make Spider-Man an Inhuman.
Yeah, you
no. But the theory actually explains it. No, the theory actually
is a lot better than that.
Okay, it explains itself because what I was saying is that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is fantastic this year, ended off on a big bang with this Inhuman War, and they have already been a part of the Marvel movie universe. So what I was saying is that they have set off in motion for season 3 something that could play out in Captain America Civil War that comes out next year. And if it does, I think that will replace this whole secret identity registration scenario, because they already said that there's no secret identities in the cinematic universe. Even though Spider-Man is out there and nobody knows who he is, he'll be the only one, and so it won't be a big story. But because there will be all these Inhumans, like in the story arc of Inhumanity, that makes more sense now that S.H.I.E.L.D. is back in power to want to catalog, barcode, and register people with powers. So I said about the Spider-Man and Human theory is they will just assume that, hey, if there's a guy running around crawling on walls, he must be one of these Inhumans. He's not an Inhuman. But that will be what the argument is that Captain America will be like, hey, look, first of all, we got to protect people's civil liberties. But the other thing is that Spider-Man's like, hey, look, I'm not even an Inhuman. I'm human. I just got my powers from Spider-Bite. And that also solves.
I just got my powers from a spider.
Yeah, but stupid. But wait. Last bit, stupid. But it solves not doing an origin story when his movie comes out, because he already would have told in a movie his origin. Yeah. So that was my theory. That will be the argument over this spider person. Who is he? is he human or is he inhuman? And because it's already been established in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
I'm going to shock everyone, and I actually completely agree with you on that. I think that is.
Where is he? We need him.
I was thinking about it the other day, and because I was thinking, well, it doesn't make sense to do secret identities, but like what was it? Sky's mother was saying, the Inhumans don't want to be registered. That's the most logical way they can go with it.
And they've already started registering them in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The thing is, the whole secret identity thing is complete bull hockey because Daredevil's got a secret identity in the TV series, so that's a secret identity that they're building into it, and you cannot tell me that after the success.
Yeah, but Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
Yeah, but they've never had secret identities.
No, I know. I'm just wanting to.
There is no way
off the Defender universe.
Yeah,
Netflix that
you'll
be the only one with a secret identity.
No, but there are obviously going to be people with secret identities. That's
yeah.
without doubt. It's just that Tony Stark was brazen enough to call himself I'm Iron Man. Steve Rogers, you can't go. It's not like he wasn't in the newspapers in 1940 or something. Nobody wouldn't have recognised him. Thor is a freaking god. Even if he could transform to Donald Blake, even he can't put glasses on Thor and expect it sort of like
but isn't that cool though? Is that with the whole Inhuman scenario going on, that they will be more adherent to their comic book identities created in the 60s, where Daredevil go, hey, I'm not a human. I got blasted with a radioactive vial when I saved the guy from getting hit with a truck, right? So it's kind of like, it's crazy, but it's like, hey, who's inhuman and who's not? And whether you're inhuman or not, it's kind of like whether you're black or white. It doesn't matter.
But I think what they're going to do about this, and as I was saying to you before, is they can't touch this. One of the best storylines I remember reading from the X-Men, which is the Mutant Registration Act, and the whole fallout from that, bringing it into Sentinels. They can't touch that, but what they can touch is the Superhero Registration Act, or the Inhuman Registration Act, which is just a relabeling of the Mutant Registration Act. And it makes sense, in that series of the comic books, you had mutants getting barcoded, they had all those things, which was very Nazi-ish, which is going to get straight up Captain America's nose. And
exactly.
It is going to be having Spider-Man being chased down by these people thinking that he's an Inhuman.
That's exactly
Captain America kind of or Peter Parker going to Cap and going, look, I need your help here because I'm not an Inhuman and they're still chasing us. Bringing that sort of like being Captain America, taking him to Tony Stark and going, look what you're doing to this young person. Yeah. His life is being ruined because of this act, and that is enough to kind of like get things going and get that ball rolling.
Yeah,
go on.
Go ahead,
I'm going to disagree with Spider-Man being in Captain America: Civil War as a narrative thing, just for practical purposes, because Asa is currently filming his film in Blackpool, and they've already started filming Captain America: Civil War.
Who?
Asa Butterfield is the next Spider-Man.
That's not.
He's not confirmed.
That's the negotiations are high on
the
him.
Negotiations are high on the
But either way, they haven't decided who a Spider-Man is. Practical purposes, the script is already written. There's no.
No, he's
no. Wait. Let me help out here. Medhat. First of all they need to do is shoot the stuntman in the spider suit right now.
They need to unveil him.
No. What I'm trying to say is he's talking about Asa Butterfield's timeline. He's saying right now Asa Butterfield is shooting at the same time Civil War is, but they can still shoot the stuntman in the spider suit in Civil War, and then when Asa's time is up, then they could actually shoot Asa's close-ups.
But they've not even confirmed Asa Butterfield.
No.
He's just the strongest.
Even if it's not Asa, whoever it is, they haven't confirmed anybody.
Spider-Man is definitely in Civil War. That is part of the Sony deal.
I disagree.
No, that's part
of it. He'll be a cameo or a little bit, but I don't think he'll be a
cameo. He's going to be one of the cornerstones on it. Number one, because the Civil War storyline, one of the most dramatic moments of that story, wasn't anything to do with the Tony Stark. It was the fact that Spider-Man, who has been one of the longest running characters, who nobody knew the identity of, it never really became public knowledge. You could argue Daredevil, but Daredevil got exhumed. Almost everyone has had their identities, but Spider-Man's was so closely guarded.
Yeah.
And even to a point where there were plenty of villains who already knew who he was and never kind of like spoilt it. That is a really key thing, and it would fit well into causing this big climax. If this young 15-year-old boy is getting prejudiced against for his well, I'm not going to say beliefs, but basically it's going to be a metaphor for his beliefs.
Only thing I would say to you there, James, is the fact that because we know that the Spider-Man trilogy that comes out after Civil War is going to be him in high school, I don't believe that his identity will be an issue in Civil War. I think his power becomes an issue. His power of being called an Inhuman becomes an issue because it also deals with that whole racial politicking as well.
Yeah.
Because I think what Marvel likes is that kind of like inner story, that conflict scenario is like, look, we don't need to reveal that whether it's about whether he's a human or not. I don't think it's going to be about whether he's Peter Parker or not. It's going to be about whether he's inhuman or not. And then it's kind of like, oh shoot, now you're creating another subclass of people here for us to be racist against. So, you can get people going, down with the humans, and that's where Captain's getting crazy about it, because it's like, it's Nazism all over again.
No, that's going to be, I'm completely for that. I think it is a proper Mutant Registration Act, kind of like.
What do you think there, Jamie?
I think, honestly, just the Rachel Butterfield, I think he looks a lot like the John Romita Sr., Peter Parker, especially in Ender's Game. He looks a lot like the way he's drawn. I think he's a fantastic actor.
I really think he's a top contender for the role, but I think that he's already been planned. He's already been locked into this movie, and that's why they're keeping it all on their wraps, because they have to. It's like why they lost Tom Hardy to Suicide Squad. Yeah, with Suicide Squad was because look, he had a conflict, and Ace got a conflict, so they're like, we're not going to announce you're the Spider-Man because you're already making a movie right now, but it's only about time. You got to think that Captain America Civil War doesn't come out until next year. They got to do all the visual effects and post-production, and they always do reshoots. So that's why I said that they can easily shoot the stuntman in the suit, right?
Stunt boy.
Or stunt boy, right? They always just shoot the very short stunt boy in the suit doing the Spider-Man stuff, and then bring in Ace for the close-ups.
There's another actor who's not named amongst the 5 people, but the people on Internet Movie Database Pro are sounding out that if he's not Spider-Man, he will be in the Marvel Universe. That's Logan Lerman, who played Percy Jackson.
But Logan Lerman is he's done, man. I mean, he's gone from Three Musketeers to Percy Jackson, and he's not the one, mate.
He's in Fury with Brad Pitt.
No, I know he's a fantastic actor, but I don't think he's the one. I think it's perfect casting for Asa Butterfield. He's thin, he's young, he's got the life expectancy. And as I was telling you online about Theory, the X+Y movie, whatever. It's fantastic. He's perfect. He's Anyway, let me move on to something that's not spoilery. The Legends of Tomorrow trailer. The reason why I want to move on to that is because in that, when they listed the cast, right, there's this whole thing that we could talk about Firestorm. Yeah. So we've seen, for those who have seen the finale, and don't worry, Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond doesn't die, but Ronnie Raymond is not enlisted in the cast list for Legends of Tomorrow. But there's this new kid, Jay Jackson, that's listed. And my theory was that Jay Jackson doesn't have to be the Jason Rush, because I think the actor who was on The Flash as Jason Rush, I think he will become Firestorm. Mm-hmm. But I think this Jay Jackson, what do you guys think that he's actually going to be JJ Thunder, the Johnny Thunder?
That's an interesting.
You know who Johnny Thunder is? The JJ from Justice Society.
But I don't read Justice Society.
All right, you do, right?
Yeah, I know who Johnny Thunder is. He's the lightning bolt.
Yeah, he's the one with the genie magic thunderbolt. Mm-hmm. But like in the 90s Justice Society, which was awesome, that old series, I got all the trade paperbacks of that, is that they had a young black kid named JJ Thunder, who was the legacy of Johnny Thunder. And everything, and he had a magic pen that turned into, the lightning bolt.
So basically, the comic equivalent of Penny Crayon.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, whatever. But my point is,
it's a UK reference.
My point is, we know that kid is on the Legends of Tomorrow. We just don't know who he is. So there's speculation that he could be replacing the actor for Jason Rush. So that's my question. Do you think that he's replacing the actor for Jason Rush, or what do you think about the JJ Thunder? Anybody?
I'm not really. I mean, I'm looking forward to this League of Legends thing. I'm thinking it looks quite interesting.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
League of Legends kind of makes me think more like 0 Hour, especially with Rip Hunter in there. So it'll give them the opportunity to go into different timelines. Maybe we'll see Jonah Hex, or maybe he'll bring
Well,
Jonah.
yeah, obviously, all the Western kick coat and rawhide kids.
I think I think it completely looks interesting, but I think we've got to stop comparing these TV series to things that are happening in the comic books or have happened in the comic books, because they are the Flash, Arrow. They're forming their own kind of like universes now that are completely have nothing to do. You just got to look at the freaking Atom for what they've done with the Atom.
He's right.
He doesn't. He exploded when he tried to shrink at the finale of Arrow. He does. He's shrinking.
No, he's shrinking the trailer.
No, I've seen the trailer for it, but what I'm saying is he does shrink. But he never freaking blew up a laboratory when he was trying to be. He never watched Iron Man one night on Fox TV and went, you know what, I'm going to make a suit after that. He never did that.
He never did that in comics.
And if I remember correctly, the Atom was never kind of like this big playboy, philanthropist kind of like person. We've got to stop kind of like looking at what's happening in these and sort of like saying that's going to happen because it's in the comic books. It isn't. I mean, they're completely their own separate entities now, and I think we should praise them for those kind of things and stop looking at. Wait a
minute. White Canary is in the comics, but like in Blackest Night. But in the Atom's journey. First of all, I happen to be a fan of the Arrow. Not a lot of people are. But Alright, well, I'm just trying to say the Atom's journey in the Arrow has been amazing. He's went from Tony Stark to Batman to,
how did he get to Batman?
No, I'm just meaning like in the philanthropist.
Batman, from the age of 13, went off to Tibet and Japan and all these places to learn these things.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about freaking Ray Palmer goes, I want to make a freaking bulletproof suit, and he just puts a bulletproof suit on. He goes from Tony Stark. He's Tony Stark.
All right, okay.
From that.
All right, but I meant the fact that he was a philanthropist. I just meant the fact his character has altered. He's grown throughout this season to become the Shrinking Atom. I loved how he had to have the nano bites injected into his brain, so that way it's in his bloodstream. I loved how he found the Bug-Eyed Bandit's miniaturized bugs to figure out, okay, I can learn how to shrink this. So it wasn't like he was super smart, like in the comics generally. Remember the Atom's origin in the comics was he was walking through a cave, and the sunlight hit a lens. And it had white dwarf,
white dwarf,
and meteorite, and then all of a sudden he shrank, and then he invented these size and weight controllers that was really small and goes into. Forget that. This is a much better origin.
I am not.
How he shrinks. I think it's realistic and it's beautiful. What the hell?
I am not saying that the Atom's original origin was good. All I'm saying is that the Atom never went to being a cyber-armed guy to learning how to... It makes no sense, right?
No, but he said, instead of going bigger, I need to just go smaller.
You have to... Right, okay. You have decided your life's mission is going to be to stop crime. Your wife got killed, so you are going to go on revenge and stop crime.
That's right. And you can't fight. I love that too. He can't fight.
Yeah, okay. He puts on a suit, realizes he can't fight. What is your thought process? My thought process would be, I need to train to fight. I need to hang around him. It isn't, I'm going to make myself shrink.
Yeah, because yes, it does. Because he can't fight.
How does it make sense?
Because every time he flies into battle, he gets his butt kicked. I love that.
So now he can get dispersed by kind of raid.
No,
it's just so.
Now he can get stepped on.
I am perfectly fine with the Atom being exploratory, going into the subatomic world and visualizing all that kind of like stuff. I am fine with that. But it makes no logical sense to jump from being an iron person who can fight crime and shit at it, but can actually
But by that definition, you should hate all superheroes because they all have like very strong. Like most people who see their parents die in front of them, they don't train for 30 years to be Batman, even if they're rich.
there is a fair. If you want to go into the comic book world, there is a logical reason going from being a philanthropist, as being a rich boy with no parents, to actually training and finding some purpose in life. But to go.
But your issue with it is that you don't see the realisticness of him.
Not the realism. It's not about. It's not about realism.
But you just said you said that you don't think that you would do that if you saw him like that.
In the comic book world, it makes no comic book sense, no comic book logic to go from one thing to another. It is like for Iron Man to go from being Iron Man to Ant-Man. It doesn't make sense. Ant-Man going to be the Wasp. No sense.
He doesn't know.
Falcon going to be Captain America. No sense, but it still happened. That kind of stuff. I don't like those kind of jumps because it's just rewriting a character.
All right, let's get back to Legends of Tomorrow. First of all, they look great.
Well,
they're flying around. I love how they look like the Justice League. I love it how we got them in pairs, we got them in groups fighting, and Captain Cold, Wentworth Miller.
What's with Captain Cold and is it Heatwave as well?
Yeah,
why have they
there's a relationship there.
Well, because no.
They broke out of prison together.
No, it's not that. But think about it, it's because Rick Hunter says it. I need you guys to become who you are because you become legendary by doing that. Captain Cold always was on this roguish anti-hero kind of sense with the Flash. It's not a hard leap for him to want to save the city, especially after what happens in the finale, which we can't talk about. So, but either way, it looks fantastic. My theory, I'm just going to say, is I think Jay Jackson's going to be JJ Thunder. Hopefully he's not going to become Jason Rush. But if he does, and everything else like that, let's just move on. We can't talk about the Flash because, in respect of our Britons and everything, but we should, because it was awesome.
It was amazing!
Talk about, I've already read what happens in it. I mean...
Alright, so, the multiverse! Crisis on Multiple Earths is coming.
It's not going to be Crisis on Multiple Earths. There is no chance.
No, what I meant was the multiverse.
Jay Garrick and hopefully he's from multiple.
First of all, I thought that was kind of corny.
Jay Garrick's
helmet. I thought that was kind of corny how that came in, but it was.
I don't think so. I think that's exactly what you wanted to.
No. It just flew in through the wormhole. What I'm trying to say is that I think we're going to definitely get Flash of Two Worlds as the opening of season 2. What do you think?
I don't think the opening. I think the mid-season.
Yeah, but remember where it ended, right? And so obviously,
you think that once he closes it, he automatically goes into the other universe?
I think he doesn't automatically close.
I tell
because
you
what they said. I'm sorry. What they said is that there's a wormhole, right? And what they said was this is going to be their reasoning for bringing in not just people with powers, but people from alternate realities, and that's what I meant by crisis. But what I think will happen is that people will have leaked in and stuff, and it ends on a cliffhanger. But I think that because they showed us the helmet, the first thing would be because Barry's already gone to the past and everything. First thing would be meeting of Flash of Two Worlds. That would be That would be the best opening ever for Flash 2.
I disagree. I think the better opening wouldn't be having Jay Garrick suddenly appearing for it. I think that's too much of a rush.
But they already brought in the helmet.
No, but they brought in the helmet. But what I think would be better is if Cisco or somebody else or Barry is going through his old belongings, maybe moving out of Joe's house, and he goes through and he finds his old comics, and he picks up one, which is kind of Umbrella, and then right at the last few pages is a story about a Flash from the 1930s that his his grandfather had, maybe his grandfather's collection and stuff, and he's looking at this and he's going, the Flash, bit of a throwaway scene. Nobody, if you don't,
bit corny,
bit corny, yeah, but it was kind of it's that tantalising moment. And then it gets aside.
Well, he's the one who liked that opening of Superman reading the comics. So,
but it's.
No, I'm just saying you're consistent.
So John Wesley Shipp.
John Wesley Shipp. Do you think what people are saying that John Wesley Shipp might be Jay Garrick?
Well, yeah, but it's gonna
in an alternate reality.
Tie into the I think that's what they're going for, not all that stuff. And I mean, that's
That
that's
would
why
be
they've
nice.
got.
I'm
What do you
hoping
think?
they go for the old Jay Garrick as opposed to the young one from New 52.
I'd
That
love
guy's
to-
dull.
I'd love.
Oh hell no! They're not gonna do the young Jay Garrick.
Good.
Please don't do
Good.
that. No. I think what I was just trying to put onto what Jamie was saying was because we've already established Garrick's Wharf, and because we've now established the helmet. Rumor had it was that and it's just only a rumor that John Wesley Schnipp, an alternate version of him, would play the Jay Garrick Flash.
Yeah.
But my point would have been is that remember that we've established the Trickster's been in jail for 19 years in the Tricksters episode.
Yeah.
So I think that somewhere, and not in the opening, but somewhere, that Barry's going to have to somehow either go in the past and arrest the Trickster and be that 90s version of the Flash, or the Jay Garrick version of the Flash could have arrested the Trickster.
I
think
think that they should stick with Jay Garrick being 1950s Jay Garrick. I'd love the Flash to cut. I think.
But he could still be 1980s Jay Garrick.
No, he couldn't be. 1980s Jay Garrick would be kind of like all, cheesy rock music. 1950s Jay Garrick.
So he's just playing Queen as he's flying.
Yeah.
Like in his helmet, like a little radio.
Yeah. Jay Garrick. In my view, it's like my favourite book. One of my favourite books was Impulse, and the way that Jay Garrick was bringing up Bart Allen. He had a very old style.
Yeah.
It was like
That was
Captain
Max Mercury.
He was like 1950s.
Jay Garrick,
He's talking about like 1950s.
Oh,
Jay Garrick,
No, Jay Garrick had him for like a couple of days and then...
Bart moved in with Jay Garrick and his mum, and they looked after
And his wife.
Jay Garrick, his wife, and they.
Oh no,
looked
that was
after
when
him.
Max disappeared though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was after Impulse.
The way that Jay Garrick is like a Captain America coming into the modern age, and I think that would work. So like that kind of like aspect about all these new fancy shiny. Back in my day when my helmet was shiny and all that, all I did was run and I didn't have any. That kind of thing I think would work really well.
Yeah, but
I'd like to see.
but the thing about it is you got to think about what they're doing, like what Mark Guggenheim is doing, right? Is the fact that we've already established that Wildcat from Arrow was a vigilante, and back in the past. So what I'm trying to say is the 80s, I think, could represent the 50s in this DC TV universe. So Jay Garrick could have been from the 80s as opposed to from World War II. It's not significant that he's from World War II, except for if you are following the comic timeline. But there could have been that storyline of like what happened to all of those heroes. So if Wildcat was a hero, how come nobody knows about it now? So now that they've opened up these timelines, Barry could, discover these little mysteries along the way.
Like a little bit of a Watchmen kind of like
Smallville
Justice Society kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, because obviously they've been setting that up and they didn't really know how to do it, but now they got the timelines narrow. And also, what I just want to say is, because you haven't seen it, is that they've established that Cisco is a metahuman, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, and his vibe powers are the fact that he's able to sense and see the other timelines. So now that makes him more useful to Barry to know that when somebody comes from another timeline, he'll be able to figure out where they came from or be more instrumental in being Barry's sidekick.
You just got to be a bit careful. I've got faith in him. But
what do you
just
mean?
got to be
What's your
careful just about sort of like not going into too like Fringe. If you looked at
Fringe. I didn't watch Fringe.
When you got to like series 4 of Fringe,
they had too many copies of each other, didn't they?
evil copies of each other and stuff like that. I'm all for the occasional one episode, perhaps the entire story arc for the entire series be based around like a parallel. I think.
I don't know, because like as we saw from Zoom's secret room, in 2024. There's a crisis. Yeah. So I think what happened now is the building of that crisis in 2014. So every season it'll have more multiverse things and it'll get more and more turbulent to build up to 2014. I think that's actually the basis for the whole series now.
I mean, I think it'd be a cornerstone for everything going through, but they need sort of the whole. That's where they want to go, but having that sort of the entire series kind of like cornerstone isn't. I don't think necessarily it's going to work totally, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in whatever, because I think DC TV are doing exceptional work. So I am willing to give them quite a bit of leeway. I just hope that they kind of like remain slightly uncomfortable.
Have we got time to mention Supergirl? Or
I was just about to say
Sorry,
Supergirl. We need to mention Supergirl.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah, guys. So, yeah. Some of us, you know, have seen it, you know, but yes, it's awesome.
They've leaked.
All right. I went to America to watch it.
I was in America this week actually. I was there.
I hopped in my private jet.
I was at the CW. I was at CBS and they were showing it on the TV.
Can I just say how unbelievable, literally unbelievable it is that something like this could have leaked into the
in full 1080 HD.
They wanted. Wait. This is what I'll say. Flash was leaked last year.
Hold on, let's stop putting those freaking quotes just around it.
It was the North Koreans. They're working for the comic book fans.
You know, it's
don't be
not
racist.
just Sony. It's not just working in.
They want it out because it doesn't come out until like November. I think.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing is the fact that if you're proud of your product, which they obviously are, they want to create a buzz around it. And which they obviously are doing. Let's just say that by whatever reason, it looks awesome, doesn't it? We won't talk about it. We'll just say it looks awesome.
I would say no. I'm totally.
Okay,
I don't like her Disney face. Her Disney face is driving me nuts.
Hold on.
You don't like her Disney face?
Hold on. Let's do.
Because she's a girl.
Just because she's a girl doesn't mean she has to be a Disney princess.
Time out. 1 second. 1 second. Let's do this in a bit more of an organised manner to how we do. Because for once, we haven't got 2 people against 2 people, 3 against 1. We have a distinct 1 against 1 opinion on something like this. And we've got about. I don't know. We've got about 30 seconds to kind of like go through it. So what we're going to do is we got to go a straightforward answer. Why you like it, why you don't like it. Chase first. Why do you like it? One
is that like I think it really pulls off the Supergirl mythos. I think it's set up. There's I don't want to say what the secret is, but they set up a little secret villain. They set up a shield type of team around her.
So that's like 3 things. Midhat.
Alright, I don't like it for Disney faces. She's just being too annoyingly girly. I buy, like, half my comic books are female protagonists. Yeah. None of them are girly. And if they're girly, at least they have something that actually makes them a bit more useful in a fight. At least some kind of confidence. She doesn't have that. And thirdly, with her supporting cast. Her supporting cast doesn't bring out the best in her.
Yeah, that's only the pilot.
Chase, go on.
All I wanted to say was my one pet peeve is that they need to do something with the hair, because if she's supposed to be in the public eye, she's just walking around with her face the way it is when she's like with glasses. So I think that they needed to do something around that, because like they supposedly had already started to leak pictures of her. So how people don't recognize her is too unbelievable. More unbelievable than Clark Kent.
So is there nothing that you think that you can like about it?
No. See, I always think pilots suck, so I always give my shows 3-episode rules. So if it doesn't improve by the 3rd episode, as in everything I hate about it, I'm not going to watch it. Basically. Right, okay. Especially like
So do you like anything?
So far, no.
What about the stunts?
The stunts. Well,
the fight.
The stunts are alright.
Well, then you like that.
Okay, I like the stunts.
Then he likes the stunts. There you go.
Can I just this is becoming like Siskel and Ebert, so it's a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Hell no!
And until next week, the balcony is closed. Good night.
Essential. Essential.